Thank you very much. So then I am going to introduce our next speaker who's going to talk about machine learning. His name is Duke Yu Ho. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Hi, Duke.
Yes, you can call me Yo.
Okay, Yo, okay, thank you. So how are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, can you briefly introduce yourself before we start with your session?
So my name is Hồ Đức Hiếu and I'm a Microsoft Learn student ambassador, and today I will present a session about introduction to machine learning.
Yeah, and like Kunal already said, there were questions before your session already. So the stage is yours, and good luck with it.
I just want to share I really like your t-shirt. So Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors t-shirt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Okay, nice.
So hi everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank all of you for joining us in the Global AI Student Conference 2021, and I also want to say special thanks for Global AI Student Conference team for supporting and organizing this event. Today, I will present a session about introduction to machine learning. During this session, I will cover an introduction to artificial intelligence, understanding what machine learning is and how that is work, what can machine learning do, and type of machine learning. In the last session, I will introduce about getting started with machine learning on Azure. So let's get started with introduction to artificial intelligence. AI enables us to build amazing software that can improve healthcare, enable people to overcome physical disadvantages, empower smart infrastructure, and create incredible entertainment experience, and even save the planet. So let's watch this video together to see some ways that AI can be used. Can you hear the sound?
Now you can see these finite details,
to engineering and telecommunications.
We are using artificial intelligence to change the way we are relating to customers.
AI lets us put people first.
The Microsoft tools really enabled us to breathe digital life into an iconic brand persona.
The product that we make is not a thing in a box.
No.
Microsoft AI empowers others to create experiences and potential. This is just the beginning.
Artificial intelligence, it's just opened up this whole world.
The future we invent is a choice we make.
So what is artificial intelligence? Simply, AI is the creation of software that imitate human behavior and capabilities with some key elements. The first key element is machine learning. This is often the foundation for an AI system, and it's the way we teach a computer model to make prediction and draw conclusions from data. The second is anomaly detection, the capability to automatically detect errors or unusual activity in a system. And the third is computer vision, the capability of software to interpret the world visually through camera, video, and image. Natural language processing is a capability for a computer to interpret written and spoken language and respond in kind. The last key element is conversation AI, the capability of a software agent to participate in a conversation. So in this session, we will explore and understand the concept of machine learning. Machine learning is a foundation for most AI solutions. So let's start by looking at a real-world example of how machine learning can be used to solve a difficult problem.
Right now, artificial intelligence helps us meet the needs of today so we're prepared for tomorrow.
By 2050, we need to produce 60% more food. So how are we going to feed the world without wrecking the planet? Using Microsoft artificial intelligence, we can reduce waste and produce more food. Any grower will tell you every row, every crop is different. We can use Microsoft AI to make local predictions about light, wind, rain. This helps farmers know when to plant, irrigate, and harvest. It's making a difference.
Artificial intelligence helps farmers grow more while wasting less. Right now, artificial intelligence helps us meet the needs of today so we're prepared for tomorrow.
By 2050, we need to produce 60%.
So what is the machine learning and how does it work? Machine learning is a process of using mathematical models of data to help a computer learn without direct instruction and is considered a subset of artificial intelligence. Machine learning uses algorithms to identify patterns within data, and those patterns are then used to create data models that can make predictions. With increased data and experience, the results of machine learning are more accurate, much like how humans improve with more practice. The adaptability of machine learning makes it a great choice in situations where the data is always changing and the nature of the requests or tasks are always shifting, or coding a solution would be effectively impossible. So how does machine learning work? The answer is from data. In today's world, we create a huge volume of data and we go about our everyday lives. From the text message, emails, and social media posts we send to the photographs and video we take on our phones, we generate massive amount of information. More data we create by millions of sensors in our home, car, city, and public transport infrastructure and factories. Data scientists can use all of that data to train machine learning models that can make predictions based on the relationship they find in the data. For example, suppose an environmental conservation organization wants volunteers to identify the different type of flower using a phone app. The following animation shows how machine learning can be used to enable this feature. Firstly, a team of data scientists collects samples of flowers. Secondly, the team labels the sample with correct category. And thirdly, the labeled data is processed using an algorithm that finds relationship between the feature of the sample and the labeled categories. The result of the algorithm are encapsulated in a model. When new samples are found by volunteers, the model can identify the correct type of flower. So what is the benefit of machine learning? Machine learning has many applications and the possibilities are constantly expanding. Here are some of the top benefits that businesses have achieved with their machine learning project. Uncover insight. Machine learning can help identify a pattern of structure within both structured and unstructured data, helping to identify the story the data is telling in his user experiment, adaptive interface, and targeted content, chatbot, and voice-enabled virtual assistant are all the example of how machine learning help optimize the customer experiment. Anticipate customer behavior. Machine learning can mine customer-related data to help identify patterns and behaviors, letting you optimize product recommendation and provide the best customer experience possible. The next is improve the data integrity. Machine learning is excellent at data mining and can take it a step further, improve its ability over time. And the next is reduce risk. Machine learning keeps pace, monitoring and identifying new patterns to catch attempts before they are successful. And the last is lower cost. One machine learning application is process automation, which can free up time and resource, allowing your team to focus on important things. So here's an overview of the machine learning process that used to solve problems. The first step is collect and prepare the data. Once data sources are identified, available data is compiled. The type of data that you have can help inform which machine learning algorithm you can use. As you review your data, a normalized identifier structure is developed and data issues are resolved. And the second step is train and test the model. The prepared data is split into two groups. The first group is the training set and the second is the test set. The training set is a large proportion of your data. That's used to turn your machine learning model to the highest accuracy. Step 3, validate the model. When you are ready to select your final data model, the test set is used to evaluate performance and accuracy. And the last step is interpret with the result. Review the outcome to find the insight and draw conclusion and predict the outcome. So how different industries use machine learning? Business across industry are using machine learning in various ways. Here are some examples of machine learning in key industry. Firstly, in banking and finance, risk management is one of the key areas of where machine learning adds benefit value in financial context. Transportation, traffic anomaly identification, delivery optimization, and self-driving car are examples of ways machine learning can create positive impact in transportation. Retail, machine learning how retailers analyze buying pattern, optimize offers and pricing, and use the data to improve the overall customer experience. Healthcare, diagnostic tools, patient monitoring, and predicting outbreaks are some of the many examples of how machine learning can help improve patient care. And customer service is answering questions, providing virtual assistance. Example of how machine learning supports the customer service industry. And the last is agriculture, developing robots to address labor, diagnosing plant disease, and monitoring the health of the soil are example of the way machine learning can improve agriculture. As you learn more about machine learning algorithms, you will find that they are typically with one of three machine learning techniques. Supervised learning. In supervised learning, algorithms make predictions based on a set of labeled examples that you provide. This technique is useful when you know what the outcome should look like. For example, you provide a data set that includes city population by year for the past 100 years, and you want to know what the population of specific city will be 4 years from now. The outcome is labeled that already exist in the data set, population, city, and years. In unsupervised learning, the data points aren't labeled and the algorithm labels them for you by organizing the data describing its structure. This technique is useful when you don't know what the outcome should look like. For example, you provide the customer data and you want to create segment of customer who like similar product. The data that you providing is in labeled, and the label is in the outcome are generated based on the similarities that were discovered between data points. And last is reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning uses algorithms that learn from outcomes and decide which action to take next. After each action, the algorithm receives feedback that helps it determine whether the choice is made was correct, neutral, or incorrect. It's a good technique to use for automated systems that have to make a lot of small decisions without human guidance. For example, you are designing an autonomous car and you want to ensure that it's keeping people safe. So as the car can experiment, and a history of reinforcement learning is learn how to stay in its lane and go to the speed limit. So what you can do with machine learning algorithm? Machine learning algorithm help you answer the questions that are too complex to answer to manual analysts. There are many different machine learning algorithm types, but use case for machine learning algorithm typically fall into one of three categories. Of these categories, predict or target category. So you have to use classification algorithm, find unusual data points. Anomaly detection algorithm is identify data points that fall outside of the defined parameter for what is normal. Predict value regression algorithm predicts the value of a new data points based on historical data. See how the value change over time. Time series algorithm, so how a given value changes over time. This covers a similarity clustering algorithm. Divides the data into multiple groups by determining the level of similarity between data points. And classification algorithm use predictive calculation to assign data to preset categories. In the next session, I will show some example of machine learning algorithm. The first is linear regression algorithm. Linear regression algorithm so operate the relationship between two variables or factors by fitting a continuous straight line into the data. The line is often calculated using the square error cost function. Linear regression is one of the most popular type of regression analysis. You can see the point and the line. The next is logistic regression algorithm. Logistic regression algorithm fit a continuous with S-shaped curve to the data. Logistic regression is another popular type of regression analysis. Navier-Bayes algorithm calculates the probability that event will occur beyond the occurrence of a related event. And support vector machine. When support vector machine will draw a hyperplane between the two closest data points, this machine lies the class and maximize the distance between them to more clearly differentiate them. And decision tree algorithm splits the data into two or more sets. They use if-then rules to separate the data based on the most significant differentiator between data points. And k-nearest neighbor algorithm store all the available data points and classify each new data points based on the data points that are closest to it, as measured by a distance function. And random forest algorithms are based on the decision trees, but instead of creating one tree, they create a forest of trees and then random the tree in that forest. Then they aggregate from different random formation of the decision tree to determine the final class of the test object. And the next is gradient boosting algorithm to produce a prediction model that pairs with prediction models, typically decision tree through an ensembling process that improves the overall performance of the model. And the next is the K-mean algorithm, classify data into cluster, and where K equals the number of cluster, the data points is inside of each cluster are homogeneous and they are heterogeneous to data points in other cluster. So in the last session, I will introduce about getting started with machine learning on Azure. Microsoft Azure provides the Azure Machine Learning Service, a cloud-based platform for creating, managing, and publishing machine learning models. Azure Machine Learning provides the following features and capabilities. Automated machine learning. This feature enables non-experts to quickly create an effective machine learning model from data. Azure Machine Learning Designer, a graphical interface enabling no-code development of machine learning solution, data and compute management, cloud-based data storage, and compute resource that professional data scientists can use to run data experiment code at a less scale. And the last is pilots. Data scientists, software engineer, and IT operation professional can define a pipeline for model training, deployment, and management skill. And Azure Machine Learning is a platform for operating machine learning workloads in the cloud. Built on the Microsoft Azure Cloud Platform, Azure Machine Learning enables you to manage scalable on-demand computer for machine learning workloads, data storage, and connectivity to ingest data from a wide range source. Machine learning workloads, orchestration to automate model training, deployment, and management process, model registration and management, so you can check multiple versions of models and the data on which they were trained, metric and monitoring for training experiment data set and publish service, model deployment for real-time and batch inferencing. And here are some of my references for my presentation, and thank you for your listening.
So thank you for this great session. We have a couple of questions for you. Let me check. So the first one is, where do you think AI is heading into the future?
I think in the future, AI can be applied into like many industrial fields and many fields, and it can make a huge impact on our society and like help people improve the performance in the working and healthcare and many other fields.
Yes, and I think you're right. Yeah, definitely. And which machine learning technique is the most preferable, do you think?
From my point of view, I think logistic regression is like most used like when in the deep learning or neural network there is the multiple of logistic regression, but other technique is most used is like clustering, because nowadays we have many data. So, but we don't have the category or label data, so we can use a clustering techniques to like to find the group of data, then we can predict.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so this was the last question. So I really want to thank you for your great session. You are also going to join the cafe, right? For people to
Yes.
chat with you. Yes, great. Okay, thank you very much. It was really interesting and I learned a lot from you. Thank you.
Thank you for your support.